I'm Coach Dave. Welcome back to Coach's Corner.
Come on.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. Coach Dave McDonough. I have a good friend of mine, and she was here a couple of months ago, and we're bringing her back. And
let's go.
She's coming back with her first pro win.
Let's go.
I got my girl Brooklyn Barwick. Congratulations on your first pro win.
Oh my god!
And you know what?
Y'all don't know. He planted the seed. He was like, "Why don't you go pro?" I'm like, "All right, cool. Now we here."
Yeah, well, you know what? That's not the whole thing. You had that idea in your head, and the last time you were here, you had a lot of balls in the air. A lot of stuff was happening to you, and then
a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff was happening, and you were training and coming off of the influencer route, but like everything else, boxing takes a 360.
Yeah, my mind was so scattered back then.
Yeah, we don't know which direction. One day you're ready to sell hot dogs, and then next day you're getting called to go to a fight somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, you have fought your first pro fight. You're 1-0. Congratulations. You hit
by
BoxRec.
54 seconds, and I'm ranked on BoxRec. F with me.
Yeah, so we got a knockout, right? We got a knockout.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go back to. I mean, we'll pick it up off the last time of all this stuff was in the air. There was a lot of talk, a
lot of rumors, a lot of just bullshit.
A lot of this, that. And you know what? Yeah. You took the plunge to become a pro. And you took it hard like any other pro. You had your trials and tribulations during camp. But, kind of put to us the decision to go pro and how it came about. And then we're going to get into the camp life of you being pro.
Okay, so the decision to become pro was kind of like an FU protest. And without giving, the limelight of what happened, I went through a lot of tough shit. Like, he knows. Like, I went through a lot of shit. And I'm sorry for my language, but
we can curse here.
Yeah,
we can curse here, and we can talk.
It was a lot of fucked up shit.
We can talk the talk, yeah.
I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, so many people were talking that I came off of this Tina Snow's loss. First things first, I am looking at it through a boxing perspective. I still think I won that. And I still think I won Amber. I was just tired of all the freaking influencer politics and the fact that I didn't want to sell my body on OnlyFans. Like, apparently that's so bad in the misfit scene that they just never wanted to feed me a win. So I was just sick and tired of that. And I was like, what do? I came to Danbury with Dave, and I was like, yo, this is happening, talking about some personal stuff because he is on my team. Like, he does know everything that's happening at all times. And I'm like, what the heck do we do? We're like, all right, we're going to go pro. Like, I don't care. If it's a pay cut, cool. If it's, going to get me the legitimacy I need, cool. And I think it's the best plunge I've ever done.
Yeah, but it wasn't so much the pay cut. It was weigh out your options like with any other fighter that we talked to, right? And look, I've seen you evolve from rough and rowdy. I've seen
Southpaw Brooklyn died that day.
Yeah, you know what? But you know what? At the end of the day, you're all in this right now, okay? You're in the sport. Whether you're fighting on influence or you're going to fight pro. So what's the end result? And it's like, my advice was, Brooklyn, you make a decision what's right for you. If pro's the decision, fine. If they're going to give you an influencer fight and they're going to take care of you, fine. Do that also. But you know what? You made the decision to go pro.
Yeah.
Okay. And you made some changes to your team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're not going to really go into that. We'll go into what your team is now and who your key people are because I know you want to shout them out. And
you're a part of that list too.
And I appreciate that. But you know what? I really do, and I appreciate all. Listen, the love that you give me. And the respect, I really appreciate that. But from the aspect of being part of the team, I believe in what you do, and I seen the camp that you went through, and we'll get to that. But you know what? You made the decision. You put this all together yourself with some key people, and you kind of went between New York, Las Vegas, Connecticut, to get ready for this fight. And,
I went 3 states all the time. I was like ping-ponging everywhere.
But yeah, your first fight, your opponents, you went through 2 or 3 different opponents, right? Correct?
Dude, they like literally kept switching up on me.
Yeah, well, and that's, look, your weight class is a tough class to match. But, you had to weight cut.
Oh my God.
I mean, you had the full gambit. You had drama during camp,
Yup.
travel,
Yup.
you got sick, you
Yup.
had to weight cut,
Yup.
you're jumping all around.
I got injured too.
You got injured.
Yeah.
You got smacked around and sparring a little bit.
Yeah. I got smacked around in the streets too. Like, there was a lot of stuff, guys. It was like insane. So then I made like a chat and I was like, all right, I wanted to call it the Survivors chat, but no, we just stuck with Team Brooklyn. I was like, all right. I did it on the bus to freaking Mexico. I was like, all right, this person is annexed. This person is coming in. Here is everybody's job. Even Dave was on it. I felt so proud of that paragraph or like that essay or whatever because I was literally breaking down everything I wanted. And then everybody in that chat was like, all right, cool. We're with it. Let's go. Like, I cannot thank you guys enough for that. That actually lifted a bunch of freaking weight off of my shoulders. I was like, oh, fucking thank God. And, like, this is only version 1 of the pro team if you think about it. Like, imagine if I get signed to, like, a promotion team, woo-wee! There's going to be more people on this team, and I already have, like, 9. Like...
Yeah, well, you know what? As you go, you'll figure out your key people and who's going to be beneficial to you at all levels of your career. That just kind of happens. And it's going to metamorphose itself. That'll show itself. So, let's talk about camp. You took the fight. You decided to go pro. You fought in Mexico.
Yep.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah. Oh, a week and a half ago, yeah.
Week and a half ago, right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm out of fight weight right now.
Yeah, you're out of fight weight, right?
I'm in my happy weight.
You had to cut. And, I remember...
It's because I got overweight because of when I was in the hospital and they were giving me those medications. Those made me hungry, and those were, like, making me more hungrier than, like, weed did. And I was like, all right, cool. And on top of that, the airfare between back and forth ping-ponging, that, like, inflated me. And I was like, dude, I normally eat to get to 126. I had to cut to get to 126 this time. It was a lot.
Yeah, but I seen, and the rest of your team seen, the evolution of, I remember I believe, what was it, January, February, you were coming into Connecticut. It is
at 145.
You were, and, look, you were putting the work in. We knew it was going to be, you had enough time to cut the weight properly. You put the work in. You made the decision not only to train here in New York and come to Connecticut, to Champs Boxings at times, which...
shout out Champs. I got my alone time there, and it was amazing.
We appreciate that. But you also, you took the chance to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
And,
I think I was put in front of the right people when I took that chance, so...
Yeah, definitely, look. And we go back to being a fighter, right? You're taking your step into the pro. And look, you got attitude. I know you're confident and everything else. But you know what? You have to be tested as a fighter. You're going into you went in top-ranked gym. You're out there with Bones.
Getting beat up at top-ranked gym.
Yeah, you're out there with Bones Adam and his crew. And there's a lot of top fighters out there. And at all levels. And here you are. Okay, let's go into the deep, deep water. And tell us about that experience, because I know you and I talked a little bit about it, and
he kept checking up on me each sparring day.
The evolution of sparring is this, right? We all know.
I got thrown in with the Wolves in Vegas, and I loved it.
You gotta go in. You gotta go in and know you can swim with the Sharks. Mm-hmm. If you can't, right, then
then you're not built for this sport.
Well, but that's also part of the evolution of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have to answer that question.
Not getting thrown in like that, though, like, I gotta admit, that's how I knew I was built for this. I was like, whoa, okay, this is not a style I'm used to. Let me adjust. I had to learn, like, freaking, like, the magic wand techniques. I personally, in this camp, was working on angles, head movement, all the shit that in the influencer world, I lacked in camp because nobody just sat me down and just went through basics with me, went through footwork with me. Like, it was just getting thrown into the deep end always. My first influencer fight, 2 months. Barstool, 4 months. Like, nobody ever had a proper training camp with me. So now, like, me going into Top Rank, I'm like, all right, cool. I can bang. I know I can brawl. But now I'm here with all of these people
Fighters.
looking at me. Yeah.
Technical people who've been working on their sport for the technical things, because we come down to this. First requisite is, you could fight, you can bang. But you know what?
What happens when you get across and your feet can't?
That's not always the road to take.
Yeah.
Okay? So you have to, and look, you have to learn it, right? And look, all these other platforms that you got to before you become a pro teaches you to what's going to happen
When
next.
you become pro,
Okay?
yeah.
This is what I did in the past. This is not what I want to do in the future. And it's evolution. It might be who your trainer was at the time. It might be who your team was. Look, no matter what, and you know, because we've been on different shows together, you know how we prepare. We're not playing
dog work.
You know what? We're not playing, even if it was for Barstool. You know, we came correct. We came with a camp afterwards, and it was taken seriously. And that's where the sport of, whether it's on an influencer platform or it's on a professional or an amateur, whatever it is, you got to take this sport seriously.
Agreed.
You can't cheat it. If you cheat it, it will expose you. It will find you. And you know what? It's just not something. But back to you. So now I'm going to ask you. You got a lot of things going, right? You go out to Vegas. We're talking. You know, you're learning. You have a different team teaching you different.
Went to the Benavides shit.
Yeah,
That
went
was
to
good.
Benavides. We'll get into that, right?
I had to stay away from boys. Remember, that was a big thing.
Yeah, stay away from
Everybody
boys.
was telling me stay away from boys.
But
I'm like,
see,
nope.
it's okay. So let's talk about that, right? So we all talk about. See, I come out of the old school of a fighter. It's like, you know, when a man's getting ready to fight, there's no interaction, right?
Yeah, but like the female body's different. We can do that.
Yeah, it's not different like that. It's the mentality. I get, okay, it is different. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like I don't know the difference, right? But it's you're getting ready to fight. Okay? You're getting ready to fight.
And then there's me on the phone with like boys.
Okay. You know what?
Alex got so mad at me
I think it's a distraction. I don't know how you feel, because look, I know fighters that feel that they need to have relations with their women before fights, and they say it doesn't affect them. I know certain fighters that we kept away, and I know the performance that they had.
Yeah.
And I can tell you some of the things as camp went deep, like, you know, there were
Vegas,
levels of tension being a lot high between coaches.
In Vegas, though, coach, I was tricking. You knew the people I was with, and that's why I was like,
Yeah, but see, that's also that. All right, so
let me just, for the viewers, just so I can clarify this. I am a bubbly person. I'll talk to a man, but
no, not you.
I am a bubbly person. I will talk to a man, but then I have my team like Dave, Alex, and like Emily and everybody else being like, hey, can you not? Like, I remember I was right before my fight in Mexico. I was on the phone with a boy, and Serge was like, Brooklyn, if you don't freaking lock in, I'm like, I'm fine. And then look what happened. I got a knockout. I don't know. I feel like...
Yeah, but see, okay.
I feel like if I hyper-focus on the dude... There's 2
parts to that. There's 2 parts, okay?
Yeah.
1, as a trainer, as a coach, you have to know the personality you're managing.
Yeah.
Okay? There are some people, right? And maybe you're not one, or maybe you are one. There are some people that you got to walk up to and just take their phone, because they're going to be distracted. They're not, and they're going to tell you they're focused, but you know what? No.
Mine is 3 hours before.
Okay,
always.
Honestly, so I get that. There are some people that can focus no matter what. I get it, okay? As a coach, you need to know who you're managing. You give them some rope to do what they got to do, but at the end of the day, we're getting ready to fight.
Yeah.
You know, and as coaches, we're thinking of plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. whatever the case may be.
I'm just glad it wasn't a breakup this time around because, like, the last time with that last team, it felt like a whole ass breakup. I can see where people don't want me to talk to men during camp because, like, the thing is look what happened with the Tina fight. Like, the whole world just, like, shattered right in front of me, and I went into that fight like, oh my god, how do I jab? How do I slip a punch? And then completely lost that fight. But then me, like, being all happy and giddy, like, oh my god, I'm talking to the man. Oh, look, I'm on top of the world. Oh, I just KO'd someone. I feel like it depends on the mood. Like, if I'm going in from, like, a bad fight, like, for example, my friend Tank, we're not going to talk about his personal relations, but mindset is everything. Let's just put it at that, bro. Like, if it's a good thing, let me have it. But if it's a bad thing, take my fucking phone away. That's how I'm going to put it.
Listen, we're managing personalities. The vibe of the fighter's got to be good going into the fight. If the fighter has a negative vibe or an angry vibe with his camp, his people, it's a tough road to haul. But, let's get back to camp with you. You're out there. The first couple of weeks, you got to make an adjustment. You got new people training new things.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a tough gym.
Yep.
A lot of eyes on you.
Yep.
You're around a lot of big people in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's going through your mind at that time?
Oh my God, it was literally like AJ was just screaming at me like, think of New York. You really want to prove those people right that you're a freaking pussy. And then it's just me hitting the bag like, no, I'm not a fucking pussy. Ah!
Yeah.
Like, it was just honestly an emotional roller coaster the first few weeks. Then I got my footing down and I was like, all right, cool. Let me keep this ball
But you're
rolling.
also struggling at that point. You got to, in the back of your head, you got to make weight.
That too.
So like that also, for people.
I was cleared like a week before I went to Vegas.
So people, look, as coaches and even fighters are a lot harder we're dealing with weight cut. It's a big factor in camp because it's always there. It's the elephant in the room, right? We're always saying, we don't want to talk about the weight, but we want to talk about the weight.
I know.
Like, where are you?
The amount of times everyone asked me, oh my God.
But I think they're asking because, look, at the end of the day, what's the last ditch plan we're going to do if we got to cut?
MMA weight cut, the one I had to do.
Yeah.
That was the last resort.
But I also seen, look, that was the last resort. But I think because of your training, I seen the metamorphosis of your body from when you left here, going there, coming back, and watching you and showing you some of the tape that you sent and watching you run prior to the last week. And I said to you, you definitely put the work in physically. I mean, you can see where you are right now physically than when you came on the podcast the last time.
Oh my God, I had a breakout and everything.
Yeah, definitely more athletic. You could see the structure of your body.
I'm fat right now too, so I'll take that compliment. Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah, it's okay. But you know what? You're gonna go back to
118. That's gonna be the worst cut ever. You realize you're gonna have to be on my dick like the entire fucking time, bro. You're gonna have to be like, "What's your weight? Oh, do you wanna go do this run?"
That's something we could talk about. As we get into that. That's not something we need to go from here. But you know what?
He knows.
When did you hit the comfort level in camp?
2 weeks prior. I think a week prior when I was at Top Rank, honestly. Because I was in a less stressful environment. Because don't get me wrong, I love bones, but there was a week where I went to Top Rank and I think I found my peoples, because shout out to that gym because you can honestly ask anybody there for anything. Let's say you need a recovery specialist or a fight suit or even a connection to go get some shoes or something. It's all in house. I felt like the things I needed, it was the cherry on top once I got invited to that
listen,
gym.
you're at the pinnacle of the sport. You're at the best.
No, it's the mecca of the sport, basically.
You know what I mean? You got your best stateside promotional company, one of the oldest, Bob Arum. Shout out to him and his team and everything out there. Look, they're building champions out there.
They really are.
They're building champions, and you know what? When you're around that mentality,
it boosts your mentality.
It boosts your mentality, but you know what? It becomes contagious.
Mm-hmm. It's like
it becomes very,
it's
very
not what you know, it's who you know. Because if somebody else is doing better than you in that gym, I want to be as better as that person.
right.
I'm very competitive like that.
Yeah,
So
and then look, you know what? Boxing is, there's a lot of eyes, especially when you're new coming into a gym.
mhm.
You kind of got to go through the rite of passage. Everybody's checking you out. Who's this person?
Mhm.
Who's this fighter? Where'd they come from? What can they do? What's their background? And you know what? When you go in the ring and you show what you could do, you show your skills. That kind of like
My little bulldozer pit bull mentality. Yeah.
that already brings it to a level right there, right?
Mhm.
So you got the full gambit of a fighter.
Yep.
Like realistically, people think camp is not easy.
No, I cried multiple times.
Camp is not easy.
Somebody needs to zoom in as I say that. No, it's not easy. I was locked in. Still locked in, but free me, bro, because it was not easy.
Yeah, and there's always the thought, what am I doing here? Is this the right, am I making the right thing? What am I sacrificing? Yada 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 to this. But you know what? Watching you from where I am, meeting you and watching you evolve is really, this is what makes boxing to me, and what a lot of
Special.
people don't understand. To watch how people evolve, not people that are just becoming pros, all right? But a fighter, whether they evolve to be an amateur fighter, take their first fight, their 10th fight, their 50th fight, whatever it is, to watch the evolution of a fighter. If we can document that, the public says, like, they don't understand the craziness we go through.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and I'm not going to get into it. You fought your first fight. You fought a 4-round fight.
I went through a lot of shit, y'all.
You had to go to Mexico, right? You had to go to Mexico to fight the fight. Mm-hmm. Okay?
And it was not an easy fight.
Right. So
that girl cracked me down the line, bro.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's a different background there, right? We know that. But you know what? People don't realize what you went through, and we're not going to get into it. I know for 4 rounds, you didn't make a lot of money. And that's what the public doesn't realize.
They don't realize.
They don't realize, like, okay,
they think I'm a full-time boxer, which is so funny. They don't know I have social media stuff that I do.
Yeah, you're relying on other things to make a living.
Crypto, sometimes I babysit, and then other times I'm doing admin work and personal assistance. I'm an athlete. Don't get me wrong. I market myself. I do the sponsor slots and stuff so we could get somewhere in our career, but it's that's not what's putting bread and butter on the table, at least for right now,
Yeah, but you're investing in your business. See, that's the one thing about boxing, whether you're a fighter, a trainer, a coach, whatever it is, promoter, you got to invest in your business. And look, you've done a great job. You've taken it from one aspect, okay, of influencer, creator, fighters, whatever you want to call it. You took the jump.
Yep.
You took the jump. But you took the jump the right way. You just didn't take the jump to say, hey, I was fighting on this card. Now, let me see what I got to do.
I took it because I knew my skill set.
Okay, but you also put people around you to help you better your skill set. So you didn't take, you didn't take just anybody to say, hey, we're going to go pro. We're going to take fights. You went with a plan.
I went with a pro team.
You went with a plan.
Full-ass team.
And look, now your plan is, going to grow. And look, do you feel, I kind of know my answer to this. I think women fighters have a faster track in their careers to get into, especially if you're successful, you can market yourself, you're winning, right? You have a brand that the public wants to see.
True.
Right?
Big deal boxing.
But you got to fight. You got to be able to fight, at the end of the day. But your route is, I don't want to say easier, but you can be fast-tracked real.
No, I'm a fast-track.
So if you're winning,
I want Francesca Hennessy, you know that.
Yeah, and in your weight class, you're already 24th, correct? On Box Track.
Above Paige Van Zant. Fuck with me, bro.
All And we won't talk about that, but,
No, I
because-
want her. I literally was on another podcast, Brunch Boxing. They asked me, they're like, who do you want? I was like, Francesca Hennessy. You know I've been calling her out. We got Chicken Metcalf. She called me out. I would love to do the IBF stuff. And then it would be Paige.
Yeah, so
I would not do Tiara Brown for now. Maybe Tiara in 2028.
let's talk about that, all right? Because you've already you know what?
I know.
We're
Everybody and
gonna
their
use-
mother is calling me out.
We're going to use the platform here today. Emily, I expect big accolades on this, Emily, and I don't
Come on,
even,
Emily. We need publicity for this.
I don't even know this, all right? Why isn't that Paige Van Zandt fight on Jake Paul?
Why don't I fight her on Jake Paul?
You know what? I mean, it's from a promotional standpoint.
We're head to head right now.
It's going to sell tickets.
I know, and we're head to head. Winner gets Elle Brooke. She drew with Elle Brooke.
It's going to get tickets.
I've been saying that I would fuck Elle Brooke up.
Okay, but here's the Paige Van Zandt has a big following across the board, whether it's boxing, her social media, her modeling, the whole 9 yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big following, right? And she's fought on some big venues.
Yep.
Okay? So she's not averse to training. She's not averse to fighting. Fights in New York. You're a New York girl right now. You're training out of New York. Even though you're going back and forth to Vegas.
I'm training out of New York.
You got Cali roots, but you're training out of New York at the end
And
of the
I'm
day.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, fighting in the Garden. I mean, we got to be
I
able
really
to.
want to fight in the Garden.
We got to be able to sell this, right?
Yo, Paige, if you're watching this, we're head to head right now in Box Rec on the pro rankings. So, my people call your people. Your people call my people. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's take it a step further. Let's have Jake Paul's people get involved here and
Yeah,
make this thing
MVP,
happen.
hit me up. I've literally been.
Because look, you've been called the female Jake Paul.
Exactly. I've been trying to tell Ivan, who is H2O Silves' dad and trainer, I'm like, yo, hook me up with most valuable. I'll go on the prospect card. I don't care if I'm a prelim.
Yeah, listen, in the Garden, you fight 4 rounds. Who cares? But you know what? Are you Jake Paul's alter ego as a female?
Yes, I am. I am the female Jake Paul, bro. 1,000%. And the reason why he's calling this out is I did 14 interviews at the Benavidez PBC card press conference. Each of them called me female Jake Paul because I am the only other influencer besides Jake himself that literally has a non-traditional amateur route. The only amateur route that Jake had was that one Deji fight where they had headgear on. My amateur career, West Virginia Tough Man, Rough and Rowdy, Influencer Fight League, Crypto Fight Night, 9... Did I fight in headgear? No, I did not fight in headgear. Never fought in headgear. Only did spars in, like, headgear. And I would do, like, live round sparring to where I would have to obviously go from 16 ounce all the way to 12, see what the frick I did. I think it was good. I'm not gonna lie. I think the LA scene when I boxed out there was fine. But, like, I'm a true grit New Yorker. I will bum rush and literally knock Paige Van Zandt out. If Elle can do a knockdown on a Misfits card, ooh, the amount of damage I could do to Paige is insane.
So
and that's not me
I'm
being
going to go back
cocky.
to this, and I haven't met her yet. Emily, what are we doing about this, Emily?
Come on, Emily. Everyone follow at Emily Boxing. I love her. She's on my team, and she does publicity.
Tell her what they do so they know that we're not just picking on Emily. Because
We're not picking on Emily.
I know you speak highly of her, and
I love her.
And I'm glad that you have somebody like that. But you know what?
She's a matchmaker too, a licensed matchmaker. So
I mean, this is something that makes sense on a lot of levels. Just saying.
Just saying. Come on, Emily.
Just saying. But
Let's
you know
make
what?
a clip on Instagram and be like, yo, Jay.
This is an all-girls card.
I know.
This is an all-women's card. So, like, you know what? I mean...
I'll do 26, 22, 18.
I mean, come on. Like, and look, we don't have to bring you that far.
I'm a shapeshifter within the weight classes. I can go anywhere.
It's not even that. We got to just bring you over the bridge.
No, true.
We don't have to bring you that far.
No, just down the one train because I'm up in the heights.
You know what? So we're not even flying you back into the place. But, but getting back to now, so now the lead-ups to the fight. Let's go back to the fight here. And you know what? The lead-up, as the fight's getting closer, and I talked to you throughout camp, when you were breaking and, going.
He went through a lot of breakdowns.
How was How was the experience? Was it what you expected? Was it more?
Honestly,
was it less?
I found out
Was it nerve-wracking as you got closer?
nerve-wracking, yeah. No, I found out what type of human I was, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, getting thrown so much shit. Oh, my God. There were times when I would, like, call him, Alex, be at Bones, or, like, Top Rank, just fucking crying. I'm like, am I fucking made for this? I found out I was really fucking quickly. And people don't even realize how hard I was genuinely punching. Like, this is the reason why now my 8 ounces that we're ordering are going to have horsehair. Because if I could do that in foam, imagine, like, the Everlast or Rival type shit. Like,
Yeah.
dang. And I had really good, like, shout out to Prose Boxing. I had really good gloves. But, like, if I just have, like, that nice little horsehair to just go, imagine I will freaking shake someone's jaw. Like,
Yeah.
that shit makes me so happy. I'm like, ugh! Violence, controlled violence, as Teep says.
Yeah. So your last 2 weeks of camp, you're training with some of the young ladies out there.
Yeah.
Who are you doing your runs with?
I was doing my runs with my friend Alicia. We were also doing it with all the Top Rank boys and the Money Team boys, so TMT, Floyd's people and Top Rank. We did Mount Charleston, and I almost
Yeah,
died.
I saw that.
I literally almost died. I made it 4 miles out of 5. Alicia made it 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, that altitude's a killer out there.
I know. I was dying. I was telling Bullet the whole time. Bullet's like, come on, New York, you're doing good. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying because I don't like being last.
Yeah, no.
I hate running, but I don't like being last. Like,
and that's why they go to the mountains to do this. And, Vegas is, you have that altitude.
one of my friends, Maurice, is like, I'm going to dock this out in 45 minutes. And he did. I'm like, what the fuck? How'd you do that?
Yeah, well, once you get into that shape, but going fight week, going to the fight, what's the emotion? And look, you had family there in Mexico you're fighting in front of.
Yeah.
What is your emotion coming into fight night?
I didn't know what the heck I was going to do because I met Serge in real life for the first time. Adams Boxing, shout out to Adams. They dropped my shoes off like an Uber Eats driver to my hotel. I'm like, literally, I'm getting everything like on a platter. Okay, here's your fight suit. Shout out Teep Territory and all the sponsors, including Dave, that were on the shorts. Okay, here's your shorts. Okay, here's this, here's that. And I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I need the adrenaline for the Cutman stuff because I didn't know how many rounds, honestly. We just got that for precautionary shit. I need the adrenaline. I need the Vaseline. I need, like, my gauze. And, like, War Tape had to send me packages of, like, tape and shit. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now I got everything accounted for. It was mostly just getting me distracted the entire time. Like, I went to Olive Garden after I weighed in, got that carbohydrates. I probably walked into the ring at, like, 132. And then, I weighed in with the 1 pound allowance at 127. And then it was just honestly, I was literally shitting my pants before that walkout. I really was. Serge sent a photo in like the WhatsApp chat like, oh, she's ready. I'm like, I look like I'm scared. I look like a deer in a headlights type thing. I did not know what to expect. And the whole entire week, it was just me just doing the weight cut. I did like 5 different baths. And I want to give a big shout out to my friend Logan because I was staying with him in Vegas. Holy shit, I called his bathroom my office. I would be in there shedding 4 or 5 pounds on a live stream. And I'm like, all right, cool. I did that. And then obviously, like, I had to dry myself out like a prune and just, like, get my mental state right. So I was talking to my friends, obviously. Shout out to Lisa. She was there the entire time. That got me... Honestly, she saved my mentality because not only is she my friend, but she was looking at it from her perspective and how long she's fought. She's like, Brooklyn, you're going to be fine. 4 pounds, you're going to be fine. You can do that in a freaking bath, which I did, but I am an overachiever, so
yeah,
I don't know.
At 4 pounds, I'm happy because you're going to sweat, whether it's a bath or you sweat it out.
On a run, yeah.
And you know what? Once you hit Mexico, it's a little warm. We put you on the rope. We let you sweat it out as long as you got some water in your system.
No, like when I was in Yuma, I was like, literally, I crossed back in the border after the weigh-in, and I was like just drinking so much water. I sent it in the chats. I was like, look at this. Look at this. They were like, you're supposed to drink that slowly. Nope, I'm drinking this water down the hatchet. Down the hatchet. I was dried out like a prune. But it was like a good learning experience because now I know why those UFC guys cut the night before, but there ain't no fucking way for this next bout in April that I'm doing that. Like, I'm starting my cut like tomorrow. I've been saying tomorrow, but no, Wednesday, hump day, tomorrow. Like, I got a month to just get off 10 pounds. I'm doing it correctly this time.
You know what, to be successful, you gotta, you know your body, you'll find your way to cut it. And you know what?
The amount of times I'm gonna have to be in a sauna suit.
I don't like the water bath thing. I mean, it's a last ditch effort. I know, get it, but you know what? I've been
doing that like every night. And you're like, don't do it. You're just dehydrating yourself.
Listen, you know what? We can talk a little bit off air about a couple of things there and a couple ideas that I have for you, but.
No, we're doing a whole meal prep plan this time. We're doing
a
whole meal prep plan.
So you know what? So now you weigh in, you're ready to fight. It's surreal.
Oh my God.
It's real.
I was screaming like in my hotel room.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. Actually, here's a little insight to what the fuck I was going through. I texted everyone in the chat that I checked into my hotel room. Okay, cool. I can't believe I'm saying this in front of Dave. He's one of my coaches, guys, so I'm sorry if I'm blushing. But I shit you not, I was talking to this boy. We're not going to name names. And that was my one distraction. I was like, do not walk outside. Do not scroll from Twitter. All right, what's my distraction? I'm going to be on FaceTime with this man.
Again with the boy.
I know, bro. I'm sorry, but I was on FaceTime the entire time. I was like,
and this
cool.
is,
and then I fell asleep.
And you know what? This is the thing
Serge
when you
came.
coach women fighters. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
The amount of emotional roller coasters I went through,
you guys got a lot of emotional roller coasters.
And my God, I was on my period during fight week. I remember that's why I was stressing out because I couldn't freaking sweat the weight in the salt bath.
And there's another 5 pounds that we got to worry about.
That's why I was worrying about the last 5. That makes so much sense. Yeah, I was screaming in this chat that we have.
She's a crazy bitch when she's on her period. Then that's a whole nother aspect that we got to worry about.
No, he right.
And look, I got daughters, so I could speak like this. I already know.
Nah, but you knew I was in that bitchy mood that entire time.
Yeah, well, you were a little grouchy when you left, I gotta say. I talked to you on the phone. You were a little short. I'm like, okay.
Even Neil visited me. He was like, yeah, you were
I'll catch you later.
Everybody was talking to me, they're like, damn. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh shit, sorry.
Yeah, I get it.
But it was the last 5 pounds that kept stressing me out. And then Leisha was like, dude, you're gonna keep adding weight if you keep stressing. I'm like, well, I can't not stress. Like,
so did you sleep the night before the fight? That we didn't talk about.
I mean, yeah, I did. And then I woke up, I got hotel breakfast, and then I went back. I made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the road. Yeah. I don't know. I was just and after I went to my aunt's house, so it was nice. And then I went back to Vegas. But honestly, I was distracting myself the entire time. I did not want to go on Twitter because that's where I fucked up at Barstool. Everybody chit-chatting, saying I'm going to get knocked out and shit. That's what got to me.
All the negative energy. So let's...
No, 3 hours before, it was shut off.
Yeah.
As soon as I crossed that border, it said, Verizon Wireless, you are now in Mexico. Done. Yep. Airplane mode.
That's good for that. But you get a knockout in the first round, 45 seconds? 54?
No, 54.
54. I knew it was... How did it come?
Bro, it was because...
Did you see it or it just...
It was my 6-pack combo. You know the one I always do? Yeah, it was my 6-pack combo. That's what literally... And a side of fries. Y'all don't know that terminology, but I do have certain moves I do. But yeah, no, it was that. And then when I went over to the top, that's what solidified it. Because in the Android video, you don't see. Her freaking face was so bashed in that there was a tiny, tiny cut that made a little...
The overhand right quarter.
Yeah. The overhand right really...
Did you feel... in danger?
I was in shock.
Did you feel in danger or look?
Yeah, she cracked me down the line.
You fought with small gloves for the first time. What was that like?
Bro, okay, so first things first, I need to get a whole new skincare routine because why the fuck is my lips cracking when she snuffed me down the line? Yeah, I'm still healing from that shit.
Okay, you're coming out of the desert. You're coming out of drawing all the liquid out of you. There's a lot of aspects to have that.
I know, but once I got cracked, literally, this shit isn't even, it's been a week and a half. This shit's not even,
Yeah.
halfway to healed. So that's the only thing that I technically walked out with is because she snuffed me like that and because it came from the desert. I'm in Mexico. There's a lot of factors. I'm traveling type shit and I'm drying myself out. I was like, oh my God.
Small gloves wake you up when you wrap them hands and put them in small gloves. And
That's where I told you I got mad because Serge wanted 2 rounds. That's why he was like, Brooklyn, I need 2. He's like trying to get to me because I get in this little trance where I can't hear shit. He's like, Brooklyn, pipe down. I need 2 rounds. Because I'm sorry, like, this is my first pro bout. I should, like, make it, like, a whole big deal. No pun intended. But because she snuffed me like that, you hear in, like, the, like, audio, ooh, 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 because I just start going up and down, working that ladder to a point where she curled up. And he was like, lay off. Come on, just finish the round because it's 54 seconds. I'm halfway through the round. No, I wanted to get out of there. I do not like small gloves. I like hitting them, but getting hit with them, that's where I learned. I was like, bro.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not gonna. My theory is if you're feeling it as a fighter, you get rid of your opponent when you can. You don't play. You don't hold on.
You don't get paid for overtime in boxing.
Listen, and we won rounds. Yeah, okay. But you know what? Sometimes that backs off against us, and you know what?
I'm not getting CTE because of Shotty.
Yeah, but you're also in uncharted territory. You're not in your backyard where you're the protected fighter.
I know.
So you know what? A fight can be changed real quick, and you don't want to take... Listen, my theory is...
I think it was technically B-side because I was visiting.
Yeah, but my theory is as a fighter is, look, if you can get the fighter out of there, even if our plan is to get rounds and do this and do that, but if you feel that fighter's ready to go, take that tree down. Take that tree down.
That's what I did. And know who I met, actually, who complimented my, like, style? Babyface Assassin, Lupita. Yeah. I was like, yo! She invited me to fucking spar with all the flyweights. I was like, yeah, I want to. And she only recognized me because of my Adams. Shout out Adams Boxing. I love you. Mwah. Yeah. Use code Barwick10 if you want some shoes.
So you got great exposure now. Now it's back to the lab.
Bro.
It's back now. You're settling.
Back to reality.
You had a little fun. You spent a little time with family. You went back around. Now
I was with boys. I was with friends. Oh my God! I was a freaking human for once. Yeah. Wow.
You were like a sailor on leave after the fight.
Oh, I know. A week of just Brooklyn being feral was enough.
I don't even want to know about that. But what's the plan now?
The plan is April.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't get married after the fight, so that's good.
If I would have gotten married,
we're good.
That would have been like the most hangover bullshit ever. Yeah, okay.
So so now it's back to the drawing board. What are you looking at? Tell everybody what you're thinking. Don't divulge the whole thing.
I mean, okay, so
but you're going back to work. You're going back to get another.
We're thinking April or May in Colombia, and then we're gonna just work our way to London, stateside, kind of like establish. I kind of want to go back to Mexico because I want to kind of establish my outside influence within like the other countries before I bring it back home to stateside. I don't know, like. There's a lot on the table right now. And by the way, do not give me 135 fights because we'll automatically say no. I'm sorry. But, like, everybody and their goddamn mother has been hitting me up. Oh, do you want to be on this? Oh, do you want to be on that? Keep it up. We will take a fight. But I am a flyweight to featherweight fighter. I ain't going up to 35. I will say that on the air. I don't care what I rest at. I rest at, like, 130. But, like, we ain't fighting at 135. I'm 4'11". Hell no. So we're just going to, like, just kind of see what's up. April, Colombia, May, Colombia or something.
You're in the driver's seat of your career right now. You got one and done right now. You're out. And you know what?
Biggest shout out to my haters because y'all fueled me for this one.
So you know what? You have the opportunity to take your time and what's right to guide your career and what makes sense because now
I'm on all smoke.
Yeah, I mean, but now is like everything has to make sense. We talked about this.
You know who called me out? Chicken Metcalf, the IBF freaking girl. Her and I were on Twitter Spaces like 2 days ago. I didn't know who she was, and I did the same thing with Serrano. And I was like, oh, I'll knock her out because I got confidence if y'all
Yeah,
can
you
see.
got a little confidence.
She
in you.
likes that I got confidence. I was like, yo,
But you know
the
what?
promoters
We
want it.
talked about this on the phone.
I'll do it.
We talked about this on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
In your weight classes, whether it's 118 to 126,
Yeah.
whatever one, there's limited talent out there.
Limited.
And there's when I say that, I'm not trying to disrespect fighters. To put quality level fights for these girls that are in the top 3, holding belts, whatever it is, they want to show that they're good fighters.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I do bring that to the table.
You definitely do. And my thing is that at any fighter, there's a time that the fight makes sense.
Chicken, we coming after you.
What I mean like this is that, look, you fight for money. That's why they call it prize fighting.
True.
So, you know what? Anybody can call you out right now.
But if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
If it don't make sense, send me the contract, right? Send me the contract, right? And if the contract's right, my team will whatever, you'll let your people look at it. That's what makes sense.
Another WhatsApp message.
That's what makes sense, right? And you know what? It's too early in your career sometimes. What fighters think is that I'm going to take this fight. Yeah. And I have a personal fighter who took a fight early in his career back in the day when ESPN was, doing shows, and they forced the issue with this fight. And both these guys were undefeated fighters at the time. But when they took the fight, the guy took the fight, didn't make sense for him. He needed to wait 5 more fights, and that fight still would have been there for him. And he would have been paid better than he was.
Yeah, better than what he's offered.
Than what he was offered. But he didn't believe that the opportunity was going to come back around. The opportunity was more than likely going to come back around.
Well, it's just like with the influencer shit I was telling you about. It's like if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. If it's not a rematch of the girls that I've already fought, or if it's not another actual influencer with established like ground, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do white collar shit. Like,
listen, you're
I'm a pro now.
You're jeopardizing your career, and it's like, you know what? Put it out there. Look, fighters are willing to fight, but you got to pay us.
True.
You got to pay us.
This is why Jake Paul exists. Jake Paul, call me.
Yeah. So, you're back now. You're going to be going back to Vegas.
Yep. A whole new mentality. This is feral Brooklyn, you guys. A whole new mentality is going to come in. I'm going to be locked up, free Brooklyn. I'll probably be freed around September, honestly, because, we going to take some fights. We going to, just get my footing out there, see what weight classes work, what doesn't work. It's all trial and error right now, but Team Brooklyn is ready. And you know what? Hey, Serrano, come on, put me in, coach. I would sell out the Garden too. I can probably get 10,000 tickets sold. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Tri-state area, everyone will pop out.
I mean, look, you're enjoying the ride. The evolution is going to be exciting to see from my end how you continue to grow as a fighter. Because, look, you've learned a lot for this first fight.
Mm-hmm.
As a fighter, you found yourself, you've grown. But now
know.
you're going to go back being a little bit wiser, a little bit smarter.
A little bit more contained, locked up, free
And
Brooklyn.
you know what? Just getting better as a fighter. I mean, that's got to be exciting right there.
Going back to the
you.
basics. I'm excited for that shit.
Yeah. And finding yourself and saying, hey, I'm there. I'm here. Now I want to become the best version of me.
Yeah. Especially when I'm doing camps with Christine at Top Rank. Her style, I love. Coach Sunny, I love her style because she's all right, brawl and brawl. Okay. And I'm not going to say what we've been working on, but she's been teaching me some shit. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I never got that shit in New York because, respectfully, I have sparred all around the 5 boroughs. Everybody got the same style. Sometimes you got to get out of the snow globe and explore the freaking fantasy land to then go back in the snow globe and dominate that shit. I feel like that's what I did.
Well, listen, from a coach's aspect, you can call it the snow globe. We can call it whatever we want. You got to get
habitat or whatever.
You got to get out of your comfort level and see. Yes.
And I'm
you
not
have
saying
to-
I'm the best. I got dog walked in Vegas. Even
Listen,
Dave knows. But
Fighters
it's
are
like,
fighters are going to get dog walked. It's part, like, listen, if you talk to fighters and they tell you, man, I never had an issue in sparring. Even the guys that are undefeated, the high level guys have had off sparring.
mm-hmm.
They have it's off days. It's
Shakur
part.
before
It's
his
part
fight,
of it's
too.
part of the learning experience, right? I mean, I kind of feel that if a fighter going into a fight, right, is having so sparring, but I can see some levels of improvement, I'm okay with it.
That's
But
how I was. I'm
I
not even
feel
gonna
if
cap.
he's dominating all through camp, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah. No,
Because
that
he's
means
not-
that you got
and-
yes men around or
Or
like,
he's not been challenged.
yeah.
And,
I feel like the Vegas sparring was my challenge.
You take a fighter who knows he hasn't been challenged. It's, it's sort of like a tiger who doesn't have to really fight for his food.
Exactly.
So you get into it's hard to explain. You get into a certain mode, but when you're going into a fight and you feel, man, I had some rough sparring. I wasn't as good as I thought to be.
Yep.
You know what? I'm questioning some things.
Yep.
But then, you know what? Once fight week gets there, everything kind of clicks together.
Yep.
You kind of click it together as a team. And that's your job as a coach, to kind of bring everybody together and say, look, you're ready. You're ready. Don't worry
Now, my
about
last sparring, I'm not even going to cap. It was at Bones with my friend. Shout out Nelsie. It was not good. It was not good. And I think I freaked out a little bit because I feel like that is what, like, built me, because I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, but you're sparring. The key that you're doing is like, and this is the theory that I live with, you're sparring better than what you're going to fight.
Yeah.
So, like, you know what?
Train hard so the fight is easy.
Okay,
type
you train
shit.
hard, fight easy. But you're also, because you're in the beginning of your career where some of these girls have already been exposed to more fights, more training, more sparring, different looks. You're coming in, and as a competitor, you want to compete. You want to be successful. That's every fighter.
I want to be the best contender there is.
But also it's like you're a limited amateur background against some people that might have had more amateur fights.
Like 100, 200 type
Yeah, whatever the
shit.
case may be. And you're putting yourself in there with them.
Mhm.
So naturally,
I'm a big dog.
yeah, but naturally you're going to be a little behind the curve at this point. Not to
Gotta
say
play
you don't belong, but you know what?
I got to play catch up. I got to put
You
my
got to
name
play
out there.
catch up, but also it gives you a confidence booster.
Mm-hmm.
Say, hey, I went with 4 rounds with a girl who's ranked number 2 or 3 or 1 or whatever, or who's a champ.
Yep.
I did my work and I held my own.
I'm never going to cry during a sparring session. Like, I was, like, raised with the mentality, save the tears for your pillow, because I was a gymnast, cheerleader, and dancer type shit. So it's like, for me, if it's a bad day at the office, I never cry. I do have, like, a reflex, so, like, if I get really snuffed, like, my eyes, like, water, but, like, I'm never going to be like, oh, my God, like, no, it's never like that for me. Like, I have this weird thing. It's like, all right, you hit me. All right, I'm going to hit you 20 times harder. The freaking competitiveness comes out of me. I don't know what it is, but it's the reason why I'm a fighter.
Maybe
like,
maybe it's your gymnastic background. You're coming off that background. It's a single person sport. You got to perform. It's either do or don't.
Well,
You either
I was
do-
a gymnastics coach up until last year.
So either you do it or you don't. There's no, right? Yeah. You didn't get a 10, well, you didn't win the event.
Exactly.
You
Just like I
what?
told you, if I'm not 5 minutes early, I'm late in my brain.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing too. But, so look, we're excited to see what's going to happen.
There's going to be
You
so
know what?
much shit this year.
I'm so excited to see where you're at. And
I can't wait to make moves this year. But, like, I know everybody says this. I've been telling the team this. 2025 is, like, the foundation. 26 and 27, that's the blow up, bro. I can't wait. I really can't wait.
Well, it's good that you understand the process.
Yeah.
And you're in it for long term because, look, you're a brand.
I am.
You're a brand. So you know what? You got to build your brand. You're investing in yourself right now at the preliminary stages. So build it strong so it doesn't fall down, type of thing. When will you really kind of figure out what your next date is when you put a pin into it? Are you?
I don't know. I'm looking at a fight in April or May in like Colombia. We need sponsors, so
Yeah.
hit me up.
Emily.
Emily, Serge,
Yeah.
Danny,
Yeah.
the recruits. Let's go.
Get all the good soldiers on the ground.
All the soldiers on the Team Brooklyn battlefield. Let's go. No, I actually, so you guys know I do really love my team, and I do really love my sponsors. Like I have Team Territory, I always wear them. Hayabusa, Adams, Alien Guards, you name it. Feature fans, everybody be on there. And actually, Dave put his brand on there too. I do it like fundraiser style. Like remember how in school, how they would be like, all right, well, you want this yearbook slot? Okay. I don't know. I feel like I do it a really good way.
Well, the Coach's Corner logo looked pretty good on the
Oh
pink
my
shorts.
God! It's the way I was walking out like that. I was like,
I think they look pretty good, and we appreciate you giving us the opportunity.
I love Coach's Corner. All right, big deal, stamp of approval.
Yeah, and then look, definitely we definitely want to keep you coming back because there's more. There's a story, and look, there's going to be some other stuff that we do with Brooklyn as far as some video stuff, and
And I'm
boxing,
a mentor now.
Boxing, yeah, she's a mentor now. She's, we have a young female fighter, Michaela, coming up that,
That's my amateur. That's my baby. All right, Tri-State, you're put on notice. All the novice girls, Michaela's going to fuck you up.
Yeah, well, you need to keep being a good mentor. So,
I told her if she was watching this, respectfully, I'm glad she left. I was like, bro, like, I don't want you to take notes from this interview. Yeah. It's because I'm already established. I told her I wanted her to be cookie cutter. Like, just like how we were watching the other interview, I was like, be cookie cutter with your shit. But, like, don't take notes from me when I do my interviews.
She's a little quiet.
I know. She's going to be reserved. But you know what? Like, we'll put a Team Brooklyn logo on her. Yeah. I'm down for that.
And
I'll be there at her debut.
It's a good thing to have her watch you evolve, not only with your personality but through the process. So she sees, you got to see firsthand on the ground what these fighters and what people are going through to get ready for a fight. Okay, it's not all friggin'.
We did a meme upstairs, like in Ian's room. We did a free Brooklyn
in the jail cell.
Yeah, we did a meme, and it was me being like, "Why do I box if I like food? Like this weight cut is gonna be ass," and it's her smiling.
Yeah, I think you know what. There's a lot of stuff to be done, with you, and especially to keep having you coming back on Coach's Corner because look, as a woman fighter, you guys face a lot of challenges. So to have. Not only to be successful as a fighter, but, to be successful as a woman fighter.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And you know what?
And hold on, let me add, without sleeping around. That's like another thing. It's like, I'm not easy as a girl. I'm sorry to say that in front of you. But like, being a woman fighter.
You have to be sorry.
No, being a woman fighter, it's like a whole nother level of shit,
we can talk pretty openly. But you know what? The deal is this, okay? You're going to be a role model, okay? Not only for two factors, right? First factor is you're an underdog. You don't have the traditional path in boxing, okay? That's number one factor. So that kind of tells, hey, if she did it, maybe I can do it, whatever the case may be. And second, as an advocate, as a woman boxer, there's a responsibility out there for you to, talk to these young women today, not only if they're fighters or what they're going through, because to train as a fighter, whether you're a woman or a man, is a big accomplishment.
It really
whether
is.
you fight one fight amateur, one fight pro, 20 fight pros, to walk into the ring, like I tell people, is not everybody's doing it.
Not everyone's doing it. You get your ass handed to you by January Hogue.
Forget about your fighter friends. The friends that you grew up with or whatever, and your family, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers.
I barely talk to them, and
okay,
that's
but how many of them are fighters?
None. I mean, my brother was a wrestler. I wrestled in high school, but that's it. So, none of them actually box. I'm like the first one of the Barwick family to do it.
We're gonna kind of cut this out a little bit here because we got to make a train.
What time is it?
I don't know. I can't tell, but we're deep into over an hour on, and
oh shit!
I gotta get you to the train station. But you know what?
I should just move to Connecticut at this point.
This is to be continued, but once again, tell everybody where we can catch you so they don't know. Give us your
Hi.
tagalicious out there.
So my name is Brooklyn, the Big Deal Barwick. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Brooklyn Barwick. I'm sorry, this is my publicity voice. Or you can follow me at Team BKLYM Boxing on Instagram. So yeah, Brooklyn Barwick on all socials and Team Brooklyn Boxing on Instagram. And follow all my sponsors. I want to give the biggest shout out to Adams Boxing, Teep Territory, Feature Fans, Alien Guards, War Tape especially. Prose was good for this one. Hayabusa. Coach's Corner, we got Triumph Boxing, we got Halani, and we also got Plug and Play. I am a big cannabis advocate. We can go into that another time. But yeah, and also shout out to all my supporters and shout out to my haters because this was a lot. This was a lot on me. And I want to give the biggest shout out to my team. So Alex, Dave, Emily, Serge, Danny, we even had Eric and we had Tom. AJ Easley was on this camp, so shout out to him. And shout out to Bones as well. And then shout out to Mama Christine, Sunny D. Coach Sunny was amazing. We're going to do a Vegas camp with her. And we're going to talk about the next time that I'm on Coach's Corner. Before I move, yeah, keyword, before I move, we're going to talk about what the Team Brooklyn Enterprise is going to end up being and how we're going to incorporate the West and the East Coast because there's a lot of shit happening for me. I feel like this was just a good little catch-up, but if you guys don't follow Coach Dave _Champs Boxing on Instagram, I think you're a fake. And if you don't subscribe to this channel, I also think you're a fake. But yeah, just follow my team. If you want to get a hold of me, you can go to talk to Serge, Danny, or Emily. And then I also have my email in the bio. And yeah, I pretty much covered all grounds.
Covered it right there. And listen, I appreciate the support you give us here at Coach's Corner and
I love you.
us at Champs Boxing. We love you also. And you know what? We look forward to seeing what you do. They'll keep an eye out on my Instagram and my social media as far
We're gonna
as
do a lot of short
Brooklyn.
clips.
We're gonna do some fun stuff in the upcoming weeks, definitely before this fight. And once again, I appreciate all the subscribers, all the people that reach out to me about Coach's Corner. If you're looking for gear, my gear, I have shirts and hats on farmerstrength.com, who's our sponsor. You can go to his website, scroll down to apparel, and purchase your shirts and hats. And we got some new stuff coming dropped out. And to my guys here at Creative Evolution, Matt and Ian, I couldn't do this without you guys. And once again, Coach Dave McDonough, train hard, train smart, and we'll see you in the next round of Coach's Corner.